After a bummer breakfast with your widower father who blends up eggs and OJ for his morning pick-me-up, did you get thrown into a dumpster by an adolescent gang of Dickensian bullies? After ducking into a bookstore for cover, running from them again, did an antiquarian bookseller groom you into playing hooky in an attic with a book he intended you to take, and which took you on a journey into the world of Fantasia, but not that Fantasia? Were you then pulled further and further into the book with the lines between reality and fantasy becoming so muddied that by the next day you were vanquishing your real-world tormentors flying atop a half-dragon, half-golden retriever? If so, you may have just been unwittingly pulled from your dreary life and into the Unkind Rewind, where we saw the 1984 international smash hit children's fantasy film, The NeverEnding Story.
Thrill me.
I'm gonna name you Kodo. You get a name too, Podo.
His name is Happy Harry Hardon. He's a total sex maniac.
Of course.
Greetings from the Great White North, where I, Josh Dugan, have spent the last few days eyeing up which rocks look most gourmet. Welcome to the Unkind Rewind, where each week we put the fond childhood cinematic memories of our guests under the microscope, putting the film, their youth, and their memory to the test, potentially ruining their childhood in the process. As ever, I'm joined by my co-host, Sean McGrath. Sean, have you been going through your Rolodex of names trying to come up with the best possible name for the Empress Child in order to save the universe?
No, I didn't do that because I was going in and out of New York City bookstores. And let me tell you, they're all like this. Like every other bookstore in New York outside of a Barnes & Noble or a Strand is an old guy who wants nothing to do with you, sitting, I guess, in the back, just being curmudgeon-y. And I don't know how that place would stay in business.
No. Impossible.
Impossible.
Very bad business model. It's as improbable as the bookstore in Notting Hill being a profitable business.
I'm screaming a lot of names on the subway, but none of them have to do with, like, the Child Empress.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and that's not just me. That's everybody in New York.
Yeah.
People just standing up going, Damien! Brenda! So,
joining us this week is the inimitable Steve Miranda. Steve, have you been hiding away with your books with nary a concern for what your father must be thinking as you do not come home for at least 24 hours despite being in grade school?
Actually, that was a lot more accurate than I realized. I was like, oh, this is where I started my love of reading and my obsession with staying in the library. My first short film actually takes place in the library.
Nice.
So when I was watching this, I was like, holy fuck, this is where it all came from. So, for lack of a better word, yes, surprisingly.
Yeah. Steve, why don't you tell listeners who were unable to exfiltrate themselves from the dumpsters into which they'd been tossed and missed last week's Q's and T's installment a little bit about yourself?
Born and raised in LA, trying to be a filmmaker and writer, mainly work PA gigs on good reality shows that I'm very happy to be on, and every now and then... do an occasional Hindi feature, short, it's all in fun. Yeah. But yeah, writing's is a huge part of my life, and I think this is where they planted the seed of the damn movie.
Before we get too deep into the other Fantasia, where can our listeners find you, Steve?
If you must. I usually have a handle called Keep LA Angry. You'll find me on Twitter. I've been reposting about how everyone should watch the latest Looney Tunes movie because it's amazing and you should watch it 5 times. Instagram, I'll occasionally share pictures of her, my cat, sweet cat Daisy. And
who's, for the listeners, got a cameo in the background over here. Yeah.
Did you work on this Looney Tunes movie, Steve? Or is this like...
I wish. I would have loved to have been a part of it.
When I heard that we should see it 5 times, I was like, ooh, maybe he's got some financial stake in this.
Yeah, he's got some points on the back end.
Yeah,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
Warner Brothers points.
No, this movie went out to die, and it literally had no reason to be this good. Like, it's a must-watch.
Okay.
We should watch it right now. That's what this thing should be.
Well, everybody, this one's taken a right turn.
This is a curveball. If you were here for Falkor, suck it.
But you're Keep LA Angry on what?
Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, pretty much that.
Blue Sky?
Blue Sky, too. Yeah.
Getting into our experiences with the NeverEnding Story. Last week, I said that I thought I'd seen this around freshman year of college, but it left no impression. Having seen this a couple days ago, nothing came back. I think I'd never fucking seen this and had only seen the second one on afternoon TV in the early 90s, like once. Oh. And then I must have filled in the gaps as to like what crept in just via the, memes and out of context clips or whatever. Must have just filled in parts of it. Cause like at least an hour into this movie, I was like, never fucking seen a second of this.
Yeah, it did strike me as really odd last week when we were talking to you about that, because that's not like you. Because especially with a movie like this that is so visual, like you have to be on another fucking planet to like not have this leave big visual impressions. Yeah. And so when you were like, I don't know if I've seen this, I was like, I think you would have known.
Yeah, it was strange. I mean, there are times when I will get like half an hour into a movie and realize that I've already seen it, but it's usually like a pretty forgettable thing.
Yeah, it isn't the eye candy that is NeverEnding Story.
Although the first half hour of this movie has virtually no eye candy.
Yeah. Sorry.
For 20 minutes, you're just like, when is it going to get into this fantastical world? It's more like 17, but...
Well, because I keep track of the time code of every movie I watch now.
Yeah.
We enter the fantasy world at the 12-minute mark.
We don't see Atreyu until the 23-minute mark, though.
True.
23:46.
True.
We see some pretty weird shit, though, before that.
Yeah, we see some weird shit. The fact that the ostensible hero of the story, if we're meant to say that Bastian isn't the hero and he's kind of a passenger until the very end, the fact that we don't see him until 23 minutes is kind of crazy.
I mean, I haven't seen this in a long time, but I did see it many times.
Yeah.
But seeing Noah Hathaway's name pop up first, that was a surprise. I always thought that this was kind of Bastian's movie.
Barrett Oliver. And so to just kind of see the little credit swap, I was like, oh, okay, well, didn't expect that. Sean, what was your relationship to the NeverEnding Story?
I'd probably seen it at least 3 or 4 times as a kid.
Okay.
I don't know if we owned it. If we did, it was bootleg.
But you had the book.
Had the book, read the book.
Now, were you the driving force behind having the book, or was it something your brother had pushed and then you read anyway?
This is a book that was beloved by my father. Okay. And he had a pretty good copy of it. And I think I mentioned last time that it did switch between red and green font.
Yeah, you did.
Which didn't make any sense to you if you were colorblind, but
sure.
If you could see the distinction between those two colors, yeah, it informed you if you were in the real world or Fantasia. I think that's how it worked. But even though reading the book goes back farther than seeing the movie, I did remember differences.
Okay.
In this rewatch, I was like, oh, that's different. Oh, okay. The book, no, they didn't do that in the book, and stuff like that. And we'll talk about that. But
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I, like most red-blooded American males, this was part of the diet.
This was definitely something that Jackie had seen too. Like she had watched this a lot. This was a constant.
Yeah, red-blooded boys and girls
watch in her house.
Yeah.
Now, Steve, just to refresh the audience, how long did you think it was since you'd last seen NeverEnding Story?
I couldn't have been more than 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, getting into the pre-interview questions, we asked you what you remembered the plot of the NeverEnding Story being, and you said...
I remember this kid also growing up in a very loving household.
It was the 80s.
Yeah, and he finds a book that he's able to escape in, and then you're following the character in the book, and he has to go on this journey. I forgot what the specifics were, but I remember there was this like angelic child queen type girl, and his horse dies. I remember that. That was burned into my soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a source of trauma there?
Oh, I mean, more like, it prepared me for also, having to say goodbye to all my various animal friends. But
Maybe there was a point to all the kinder trauma that was inflicted on us as children with the movies
I
that we
mean,
watched.
I don't hate on it. I wish more dark fantasy came back.
Yeah.
Because you kind of need that now. Like, if anything, that prepared me for today.
We are in a frozen hellscape now. Yes.
Yeah.
We're all
like
just dragging our loved ones through the mud. trying to find some salvation.
And obviously I remember Falkor and flying through the sky. And that's about it.
Now, obviously, the dreary home life ultimately ends up being kind of an afterthought. Why do you think that was the first thing that your mind recalled when asked about the plot?
Like I said, I grew up in a very loving household, so
So
I'm
it was
sure-
relatable?
it's definitely relatable, and I just remember watching this again, just the kid trying to make his own breakfast and expected to make his own breakfast, and the father, he does help pop the lid, but he does it as like this, why aren't you self-reliant yet?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
why do you
he's
still
really
need
put
help
out
with-
by having to pop that lid.
and I feel like a lot of us, we were just expected to just have shit figured out already before the age of 10, or
I mean,
some of
his
us,
dad
but-
fucks off to work.
Yeah, and he's not at all in tune with the fact that his son's getting bullied, and I was bullied in Little League, and it's probably why I hate sports, but just zero empathy for the kid, so maybe that's what it is.
Sure. Now, was his mother being dead something you remembered prior to starting the rewatch?
I don't remember his mom being dead.
Okay.
That was new. I was like, oh, dead parent plot. Okay.
Did you remember the nothing?
I did not remember the nothing either.
Hmm.
No. And I also haven't read the book, and after watching this again, I'm like, I need to pick up that book. It's criminal I haven't read it yet. But yeah, I didn't remember the nothing. I didn't remember the servant of the nothing, the wolf.
Yeah.
And I didn't remember. I thought the child empress entered the scene earlier, in the first act. I didn't realize you don't see her until the very end. That was surprising to me.
Was the book mechanism something that you think appealed to your younger self? Were you an avid reader as a child?
I taught myself to read, so I think that helped.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah,
But,
how did that happen?
I don't know. I just remember one of the adults in my household just bragging about how I taught myself to read, and I was thinking as a child, doesn't sound like something that you want to brag about. But yeah. My child taught himself to read. I was like, oh, it's revealing something else about our relationship,
Yeah.
but have at it.
You remembered Bastian reading about the adventures of Atreyu pretty clearly. Was it at all surprising to the adult writer iteration of Steve that Atreyu's face doesn't hit the screen until 2346?
I'm not bothered by that as you are.
I just thought it was interesting, not necessarily bothersome.
Well, because when I was watching it, I was like, because I thought they entered the fantasy world quickly because they entered the 12-minute mark, and then it's it feels like the start of another movie.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what's happening in the book. So it's kind of this actual Inception movie where we're experiencing this other level, and it's got to have its own start.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, if you subtract by 10, Atreyu technically enters in the 13-minute mark of the NeverEnding Story.
Sure.
So it's actually it's pretty timely. But I did think it was interesting that they're surprised that he's a child. Because, they ask for Atreyu the warrior. He approaches the vizier, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful scene because everything's just designed so beautifully. You have all these
so vaginal
weird creatures. That too.
It's like a George O'Keeffe painting.
Angelical vaginal, though. Vaginal.
Yeah.
If God had a vagina, that's what it would look like.
Sure.
So.
What do you mean if?
True. He's got both. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have both.
Yeah, they have both. Yeah, so you can see the my age revealing myself. He's the automatic.
Sure, right.
Working on that. But what was it? Oh yeah. So I thought it was interesting how they asked for Atreyu, the kid approaches, and they're just all amazed that he's a kid. And they're like, no, we asked for the warrior. And I was like, how did you hear about him? Because I'm pretty sure kid warrior would have been like the... So that's why it made me wonder. I was like, how did he garner this rep as a warrior? And nobody's like
Right, yeah.
talking about he's a kid, because that would be he'd be Atreyu the kid. Or
Right.
You know, we don't know too much about, like, his people. Like, he calls himself the Purple Buffalo Hunter of the Plains or something.
Yeah.
They could all look like Atreyu.
That's true.
Like, when we meet the Empress at the end, she's not a kid. She is the childlike Empress, but she is not, say, a little kid. She's, you know, something that doesn't really get too specific in the movie, but apparently, you know, I didn't read the book along while watching this, but I know that she's like eons old. So Atreyu could just be from a species, like we were not short of species.
And Atreyu is supposed to be half Native American.
Yeah, but he doesn't know what a human is.
Right, yeah.
Like when they talk about a human boy, he's like, what the fuck's that? So, you know, it's possible. I was okay with kind of where Atreyu enters. It is kind of just a big dick move in this movie to be like, here's the hero. He's fucking 13 or whatever he was in this movie. And just from like the attitude he has of like, okay, well, I can leave.
Yeah.
Like you guys can
I can fuck off. I don't need to do this.
Yeah. Like you guys can all just be fucked.
I mean, that endeared me to him, honestly. Like, I was just like, yeah, he showed up. He came, and if you want to reject him, that's on you.
Yeah, and then just like no hesitation, like you can't bring your weapons, and he's like, "All right, here's my shit." I don't think he ever got that back.
Yeah, I do love that they go, "This is a dangerous journey, and you can't bring your weapons." And the whole time, I kept watching, waiting for an explanation as to why.
Yeah, we don't get that.
We don't. Which I'm not saying is a criticism, but this is something I was like, he could have brought his weapons.
Yeah,
and he did bring a knife, because he does use a knife on the Shadow Wolf at the end.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, what does he use?
He uses part of the world is decaying.
Yeah, it's like a shard of something.
It's like
right.
a stone shard.
Yeah,
That's right.
But even before he finds that shard, he's still talking shit to Gamorg so fucking hard. He's like, "Yeah, bro, you can come at me, but I do not die easily."
Yeah, I'll fuck your ass up.
It was I'm prepared to die, but I'm going to go out fighting. That was great.
Yeah, I might die, but I'm taking you with me, asshole.
How did adult Steve respond to just the myriad of kooky batshit creatures in that kind of palace scene? Because it's like a Mos Eisley cantina in there.
I loved it. I adored every second of that place. Like, I would have stayed there longer if I could. There's
like double faces and maybe triple faces.
Yeah, like there was like this like huge rock head with faces in it, and I was like, there were two of them. There were two of them. And I was just like, I just love that there were two of them. Like,
because they breed.
Like, yeah.
Well, I mean, we've seen a double-faced person in Gymkhana, which comes after this. We've seen basically the stone, whatever the stone guy is. We basically saw him in fucking Return to Oz, which is also after this. They are at least creating creatures that are getting ripped off within a year of this.
Creatures and moments. We're jumping ahead, but my goodness, like when Bastion is on Falkor and he shows up to see Atreyu on Artax, I was like, Top Gun did this 2 years later. Like Maverick just ripping ass, hauling ass down the jetway.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Maverick hauling ass or ripping ass into Kelly McGillis.
No, I mean, we could talk about the correlation of that as well, but just that kind of the parallel of these two heroes, side by side, just fist pumping, right? A lot of fist pumping in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was definitely as homoerotic as any of the flight scenes in Top Gun.
You inspired this image in my head of Tom Cruise on Falkor, and I'm like, that's a movie I would love to see. But Falkor would probably...
I mean, it more or less happened, right? In Legend?
That's true. Crawl's also another movie that came to mind when I was watching this.
Yeah, there is a really evocative swamp scene in Krull.
Yeah.
That I completely have conflated as being part of this movie.
Okay.
Like the things that happened in the Krull swamp scene, I was expecting to see in this, and didn't see any of that. Just saw some kinder trauma.
And Hal. I will say, I laughed at that scene. I laughed so loud. I was by myself. But as a horse is dying, and the tear comes down Atreyu's face, I fucking laughed so hard.
Okay, so this is what happens when you don't see it as a kid. Because I saw it this time, and I cried. I cried watching this.
Awesome.
And I cried as a kid.
Yeah.
Because fucking Noah Hathaway is sending it, right?
Yeah.
Just the way that his voice kind of cracks. Like he's like totally borderline puberty. So like we do get some of this like high pitch voice part of him. And then we get, he tends to slow it down and get more serious. But just the pleading with this horse, which I was shocked how early this comes too. It's about a half an hour.
Yeah.
Same.
That's why adult Josh was laughing, because like we're supposed to care about Artax, but we have seen Artax for 4 minutes.
I know. It's a problem with the movie that you don't have with the book, because by the book when he goes,
right.
All those things that they ride through, like the fucking weird crystal.
Each of those is like a chapter in the book.
Yeah, and shit happens in those chapters. Like Crystal Town and like the Sahara, and to happen this early, like, yeah, my inner child was completely rattled by this scene. And then it's such a weird, like, fade to black. All right, get up, keep moving. But you're right. If it happened an hour or an hour 15 into this, and we had some weight, and we had like Artax saving his life a couple of times, and more kind of nonverbal communication. I mean, yeah, it probably would have.
If Artax were more like Shadowfax.
Yeah, but still, it still got me. Like, I don't know how it worked on Steve, but I was like emotional damage during that scene.
So I clearly watched this as a kid, and it just seared in my brain. And then and the reason I remember my exact age of when I saw this is because like a week later, my dog got hit by a car, and I basically recreated this scene with my dog. So that's seared into me, and I was just like, oh my god, this is just like this movie, and So watching this as an adult, again, I was surprised because my child brain edited this movie to be like, well, that's clearly takes place in the climax of the movie. So when I saw Artax die that early, I was like, oh, even my child brain was like, no, he didn't die that early. He had to have died at the climax, because that's the only way that makes sense. So I get why you would laugh, Josh, because yeah, it is kind of silly. He's just gone like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess it was a mixture of both your reactions of like, oh, this is really sad. Oh, why is this happening so soon? But it
Right.
makes
It's like
sense,
it's the screenwriting brain part of you that came in there, because
Yeah,
that does not make sense in a screenplay to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Ma, we just got this dog. We're gonna call him Old Yeller. Go shoot it. But I have no attachment to this dog, so I guess it's going to be pretty easy to pull the trigger. Credits.
It was good horse acting.
This
though.
film brought to you by Christy Nome.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow, ooh,
topical.
Yeah.
In the future, kids, if there is a future, Google Christy Nome /dog.
I think the dog's name was Cricket, right?
I mean, it'll probably be redacted by that point.
Oh,
God,
yeah. Along with like Jackie Robinson's service and everything else.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, they'll call them volunteers instead of slaves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys know who bombed Hiroshima? It was the Enola Strait. More Unkind Rewind right after these messages.
We all know that feeling. You finally manage to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "Beware of Dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more.
Having just rewatched this for the first time in nearly 3 decades, is it at all odd to you that you didn't remember more of the particulars of the hero's journey?
No, I could see why, because that was some, in my opinion, feel free to disagree, but I was amazed by how beautiful it was and the ideas that it was communicating. That was like no, there was no way my little brain was ready for that advanced level material. Like,
Okay.
I loved how meta it got.
The meta aspect was the most interesting part, I think, to me. As a, jaded adult who didn't have a relationship to this movie, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
I do think that some of the hero's journey felt a little slapdash. Like, it just felt like it was sort of like set piece, set piece, set piece. Not a ton of, like, connective tissue between them. It felt sort of like, say, Pirates of the Caribbean or something, where, like, yeah, I mean, the movie's moving forward, but I don't know how much plot there really is. But it looks good, so who really cares?
The thing is like his mentor character is split up in like 15 different ways in this. He doesn't have a Yoda. He doesn't have an Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Which is kind of what would have solved a lot of the problems that Josh has, like, because he could ask questions to somebody who knows everything, who's been through it, who like first saw the nothing when he was a young boy or something like that. But he has to get it piecemeal through a luck dragon, crazy witch people, a rock biter. I mean, like, there's a lot of different advisors to him, and half the time, like, you can't quite understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really have somebody to kind of shepherd Atreyu through this and explain things. So yeah, I mean, but as far as like set pieces, like, this movie is all set pieces. Like, this movie is all like video game levels. There's not necessarily bosses, but like everything is a new level in a video game that is drastically different from the previous one.
Now, you seemed pretty certain that this wasn't a film that lingered into your teenage years, that the latest you would have been watching this was at most around age 11. How did your movie viewing habits change as you made the transition from grade school to middle school and beyond?
I wasn't really... Well, so I used to take me and my brothers used to go to the cinema a lot because that was an easy babysitter, and I was basically their babysitter. And we would buy one ticket and watch 4 different movies that day because it was so easy to just walk from theater to theater. They didn't care. And so it was basically, my movie habits were, well, what plays after Austin Powers? Oh, The Jackal's playing. I guess we'll watch that, so then we can watch this Dumb and Dumber afterwards. And so I would be exposed to movies I would never choose. I would use them as just simply as a placeholder to the next movie I wanted to see. So I guess a mixed bag, for lack of to paraphrase.
Sure, because you're whatever fits in the schedule is what you're seeing.
Yeah. And I would be exposed to stuff I would never chosen, and that was enriching. Like, I rewatched The Jackal again last week, and still as impressed as I was when I was a kid watching Bruce Willis kill Jack Black. So,
yeah. Everyone's going to think you just watch movies with Jack Black now. Because, I mean, you were talking about him in NeverEnding Story Part 3.
Yeah. It's worth watching for his performance because he's bringing levels to this bully character you've never seen before. And I'm pretty sure he would agree. He was like, I was trying to communicate this new era of bullying where, maybe he wants to be a terrible person. Maybe it is a conscientious choice. Anyway.
Yeah.
Jack Black doesn't really die on screen a lot, but he really, like, hit his quota in The Jackal. Like, he dies hard.
Yeah, it does.
That's a bad way to go.
Now, before purists go insane screaming at us to correct last week's music talk, Limahl is technically the artist for the title song. For the English language version of the film, it wasn't in the German language film.
Oh, weird.
Limahl had been fired from Kajagoogoo in 1983 for becoming egomaniacal and increasingly difficult to work with, per Wikipedia. So he embarked on a solo career following his dismissal, with this serving as his second single before releasing a solo album, where he wrote all the songs but this, This being written by Giorgio Moroder and Keith Forsey. The album flopped, though this reached number 4 in the UK and number 17 in the US. So, Kajagoogoo adjacent.
Okay, I stand corrected, but I don't want to lose that at trivia, so I'm glad that I know now. It was just Lamal.
Yeah. So, throwing to clip 2, we asked you what it was in the NeverEnding Story that you thought might have appealed to your younger self.
Like other kids, I was watching movies about kids going through dark stuff, and I think it's probably you see these children having the courage to face these like dark things, and it gives you a sort of a boost to your confidence and to your spirit, for lack of a better word. So it might have been it.
Having watched it now and thinking about little Steve watching this, do you think you more or less summed it up, or were there other elements of the film that you may have been drawn in by as a child?
I mean, as a child, I was definitely drawn into the animals.
Okay.
But having watched it now, I'm like, that's basically what this movie is about. It's about how, because the whole time it's his father, you need to be grounded. Who cares that your mom died? You know, you need to move forward. Reality, reality. And he literally runs from reality in the form of his bullies into the bookstore. Fantasy protecting him. And so this whole movie is about how you don't have to face these dark things on your own. Sometimes you can rely on a fictional avatar to help you through your own dark trials by experiencing their dark trials. So, yeah, no, that pretty much is. I think that.
Specifically, it was to stop daydreaming and start facing your problems.
Yeah.
Which is what his dad said to him. This is also the dad who's, as Josh pointed out, just making a good old-fashioned egg and OJ smoothie.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I think that was a trend back then.
That was a trend. Didn't Orange Julius do that occasionally? Or, like, you could add egg?
I thought Orange Julius had dairy in it.
Okay, well...
I thought that was a weird thing about Orange Julius, but I've never had an Orange Julius. I can't say for sure.
I think you could add an egg to an Orange Julius, but
okay.
Maybe one of our listeners can clarify this. But, like, he talks about...
Does the citric acid kill, like, the potential for salmonella or something?
I don't know, but, I mean... This is
I don't know why you would do it, period. But
people loved Rocky. People saw Rocky and were like, well, I have to do that now.
Yeah.
But, like, this is a kid his dad mentions is on was on the swim team.
Yeah.
Or, like, did horse riding. And this kid can't open a fucking jar, right? Like, it's a chore for him to get that jelly open. Even how he butters his bread is arduous. This kid should not be left on his own. And dad's gone. With, like, breakfast still going on.
We never find out if dad even realized that the kid was gone the whole night. Because
right.
It is the next fucking day.
Yeah.
When he flies in on Falkor.
A very stormy night, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, search parties would have been sent out looking for this kid. I'm assuming they would have checked his school and, like, the mysterious whatever the hell that... What was that? Like a gymnasium supply attic with skeletons?
It was a beautiful supply attic.
I mean, he knows where the key's hidden, right? Which is a kind of a cool touch. I imagined if I knew about something like that, that's where I would be. Any chance I got.
The door to the classroom, by the way, was the most insane classroom door I think I've ever fucking seen. Like, he had to stand up on a chair to, like, kind of peek in through a window that's like the size of a business envelope. Very strange to me that that's what the classroom doors in this school were.
They shot it in Germany, right?
Well, they shot the real world interiors and exteriors mostly in Vancouver. They shot all the fantasy shit was at various studios. But
where's this school? Is that Canada?
The school's in Vancouver.
Okay. There's probably some really...
his home is in like Surrey, BC, but everything's in the greater Vancouver area.
I would just assume that there's probably some like really pragmatic reason for the door of his classroom and the weird window that we just don't get because we're Americans.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
Now, before we got out of the pre-interview last week, there was some discussion of how much the author had to do with the sequel, but it's fair to question how much he had to do with this film. Now, as Sean said last week, this is based on Michael Ende's 1979 German fantasy novel that translates to The NeverEnding Story. was a huge hit novel and was in development for a few years in Germany, first with Helmut Dietl attached to direct. And then as I got closer to filming and art department stuff started coming in, he realized he was not up to the task at all and stepped away from the project, with Wolfgang Petersen stepping in and replacing him. Now, Petersen was coming off of directing what was then the largest grossing German film of all time, Das Boot, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I could certainly talk a while about that. But Enda had been giving the producers and the previous director fits. So Petersen went to Italy, where Enda was living, and tried to go over his concerns with the adaptation. Ultimately, though, they had to make a fantasy movie in 1983 with all the limitations inherent to that. So changes were made, much to Enda's chagrin. He sued and tried to either stop the film from going forward or get the name of the film changed entirely, and failed on both fronts. Now, the first half of Enda's book served as the basis for this film. The second half of the book served as the blueprint for the sequel, though enough time had passed between the two that all of the main characters had to be recast as the actors had aged out. You know, it was like 5 or 6 years later when they were looking at casting this. As we were just saying, it shot primarily in Bavaria Studios in Munich over the summer of 1983. Real-world scenes were shot in Vancouver, BC, and there was one scene that they shot in location in Spain. This ended up being the most expensive German production in history to this point in time.
Whoa.
Costing the equivalent of somewhere between $25 to $27 million in Deutschmarks, so like 60 million Deutschmarks. So that's sort of the quick background of the movie. I've got stuff on casting that we can get into later if we want, but going to the next clip, we asked if you had any discrete memories of watching or playing NeverEnding Story. And you said...
No, I don't. And it's one of the few movies where it's like, it impacted me, but I don't have any like strong, like actual grounded memories associated with it, which I think is the reason why I was like, I better not rewatch it, because I kind of like it where it is in my brain right now.
Yeah. I mean, you put it on the list, though.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah, we didn't, go through diaries or anything like that.
Yeah.
To find this. So you think that your cautious aversion to this movie has something to do with kind of a visceral nostalgia of how you felt as a little kid watching it? Not anything too specific?
It might be, because I remember loving it. And I remember being like, I need to keep this love in this box and never open it. And the word of mouth I heard is everyone told me how much they hated watching it as an adult. And I was like, oh, I can't do that to this movie. Like, I need this.
Having rewatched the film, do you have any idea why you might not have had any specific experiential memories that pertain to taking it in?
I mean, like I said before, I think the ideas they were communicating in this film were just next level.
Uh-huh.
And I think my little kid brain was like, this is all really important. I don't know what it is, but I know it's important. I'm going to save this for later. And I think that's the impression I was referring to, because,
okay,
it's every film I could like remember what happened in it pretty accurately, whereas this was like blanket it and just leave it there. So.
Yeah, I mean, everything's sort of cribbed in like metaphor and thematic.
The concept of the nothing, right, is so difficult for a little kid.
Yeah.
Like even that quick explanation from the rock biter, who's like, I went there and there was nothing left. And it was like, oh, it's just a hole? No, a hole would be something.
Yeah.
This was nothing. Like, that's a hard thing to kind of like, you have to unlock some hemisphere and like some area has to flare in the brain for you to kind of wrap your head around what nothing is, right?
Yeah, it's a really esoteric threat to this world that, like, how's a child going to like conceptualize that?
Right. And even in the movie, they can't really conceptualize it for us. It's all represented by wind and clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's something. That's not nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And I gotta say, like, if you are sexually into clouds, holy shit. This movie is cloud porn. I mean, like, there is some alto cumulo mamadas going on pretty heavy. I mean, the whole opening credits is cloud porn.
Yeah.
And then Falkor, all of his stuff, heavy cloud porn. I don't know if that's a term, but like there's a kink for everything.
It's not anymore because Noah doesn't exist, basically.
Okay, well, it's represented for a little kid by storms. And I think even my first couple times watching this, I probably couldn't tackle that. I probably didn't know what nothing meant. Which is why we have Gomorrah kind of acting as this agent. How did the terms, talking earlier about like the logistics of like why you can't bring weapons? Like, how was Gomorrah approached? Like, what's the contract?
Yeah, how do you serve the nothing?
Yeah, because like, so if you succeed, it wins. Where do you go?
Well, how I interpret it is the nothing's also what happens to this kid's father, because there's nothing in him anymore. And that's why he can't connect to his child, who still has this
the void
beautiful
left by his wife's death
as well, and this is how he's dealing with it. And that's why I felt like I was like this world's getting destroyed because we're seeing this child's imagination being destroyed, and that's how I interpreted the nothing. And I guess Gomorrah, because he's kind of like the mentor to Atreyu too, and to Bastion, because he's like letting, like, I love that line when he says it's easy to what I read, people who have no hopes are easy to control.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's pretty much this decade.
Yeah. Yep.
So just the full Gomorrah quote, because like you, I recognized it just being awesome.
Yeah.
The nothing is despair destroying this world.
Yeah.
People with no hope are easy to control, and people who control have the power. I am the servant of the power behind that. So it's like, yeah, I mean, super heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you get out of bed as a 7-year-old after processing that.
Well, I get what I think my brain did is we're locking this in, but it's going to go deep into your subconscious, where your conscious brain can't touch it until you're ready. And I was definitely ready for it now. I was like, God, this... I have to say, rewatching it, I was not expecting A, to be moved by it, and B, to be impressed by it. So those are my genuine reactions. So that was absolutely lovely for me.
Do you think that the broadly negative reaction of your peers having to rewatch the film and not liking it helped your rewatch by like tempering expectations?
That always helps. It always helps to temper your expectations. But I mean, I think I could see why they didn't like it, because it's a very depressing movie too. Like it's genuinely depressing, but I love depressing shit. So that's probably why I was like really vibing with this.
There's a line, a good test for Atreyu was when he has to walk to the mirror of whatever, right? But we get this line that is confronted with their true selves.
Yeah.
Most men run away screaming.
Yeah.
Which is why so many men are adverse to therapy, I think. But like, this is a movie for kids, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're dropping despair, destroying the world, people with no hope are easy to control, and confronted with their true self, most men run away screaming. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, there's just a lot of...
Oh, yeah, plus dead mom. Like...
Yeah.
And bully. I mean,
it's crazy how many children's movies in this period of time had a dead parent.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like because we did Cloak and Dagger. Isn't Barrett Oliver's dad dead in fucking Cocoon too? Or are they just divorced?
I think he might be dead. Yeah, and it's always kind of mentioned offhand.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a parent not there.
E.T.
Physically or mentally. Yeah.
But yeah, very strange how prevalent that is. Lots of young widows and widowers in the 80s, apparently.
Here are some ads. We'll be right back.
We all know that feeling. You finally manage to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "beware of dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more.
Now, when we told you what we'd chosen from your critter-heavy list of films that you submitted, you were a little, if not upset, crestfallen, as you expressed concern that it wouldn't hold up to your more glowing memory of the film. Do you feel like your expectations were kind of in line with what your experience was, or were you...
It exceeded my expectations.
Okay.
Happily, surprisingly.
Now, thrown to the last clip, we asked you what expectations you had for your return to the NeverEnding Story, and you said...
I'm probably going not to love it as much as I used to, which is fine. Everything dies, which is I think what the NeverEnding Story is about.
That could be the tagline for this podcast, probably.
Yeah. Everything dies. But I'm sure... because I rewatched Legend, and I still love Legend.
Okay.
I think it's the best Legend of Zelda story movie we've ever gotten. And Tom Cruise plays a good Link.
Yeah.
And the reason I appreciate dark fantasy, 80s dark fantasy specifically, is it's just all the attention to the details that you don't see these days anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
Like the atmosphere, the costumes. The sheer majesty of it all, so I'm sure I'll still appreciate it with in that regard.
So you hoped you'd still be able to find joy in the dark fantasy of it all. Did Petersen's vision and attention to detail have the same impact that Ridley Scott's in Legend did when you rewatched that?
Yeah, it did, and where Legend had this great scene where the apocalypse is literally caused by innocence, which I still think is such an interesting theme to tackle. I thought this was interesting in exploring how the duality of our soul could become crestfallen and be absorbed into the nothing. And this episode may be called Everything Dies, which is also the message in NeverEnding Story, but it's got this very optimistic outlook because everything dies, but then everything's reborn. Everything keeps going. It's never ending. So, yeah, I was quite taken by that, surprisingly.
Now, Sean, you were hopeful towards the end of the pre-interview, stating that you thought something good was going to come from this. How do you feel like your prediction held up?
I do think something good came from this.
Okay.
The things that I had a problem with this time are just technical shit, right? Like the ADR is rough. Like the dubbing of this is really bad.
Yeah.
It feels super fake. Like the stuff with Deep Roy and the Night Hob and that kind of stuff is bad. But also, they hadn't quite mastered, I don't know, I mean, maybe problems with translation, but how, say, Gamork and Falkor use their mouths, it is like a broken down Chuck E. Cheese band.
Did you see how many people it took to operate
Falkor? God, I don't know. Probably 5 on his head, right?
There were 15 in total.
Oh, yeah, his head and his eyes. I mean, Falkor is such a magnificent creative thing for a kid's movie. He's a dog, but he's a dragon, but he doesn't eat, he's...
It's easily the most memorable thing about this movie. Like, the thing that you see all the time is, shit about Falkor.
He saves them. He swims in one scene, which is cool. And he can just, 10,000 miles or something like that?
Yeah.
It was 9,991 miles.
Yeah. He wanted him to work for it a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't know the rules. I mean, there are those rules of okay, gotta go alone. I was like, well, did he break that? By bringing Falkor?
Yeah.
And it was you can't have any weapons. It was well, you have a big fucking dragon. It's when they get to the Oracle or the Sphinx, right? Falkor can't get them past that?
Yeah.
Can we talk about the Sphinx boobs?
We should talk about the Sphinx
Let's
boobs.
talk about those nips. Those sweet, sweet nips.
Those
What the fuck, man?
If we're gonna talk about things we had a bit of issue with, I just remember I just marked 5523 Sphinx boobs ? 5 times. Like,
yeah.
And the camera angle was like, you could just tell it was like, let's get those boobs. Gotta get these boobs. It's
Yeah.
This isn't about anything spiritual. This isn't about the fact that you could die. Sphinx boobs. Sphinx boobs.
I mean, do we need to mention that the turtle head looks like a dick in profile too?
Yeah.
Well, if you do that, everything's pretty phallic when you think about it. Like,
well, but the turtle head, when they showed the side shot of the turtle in profile, that looked like a dick. Like, that was the most phallic thing in the entire movie. In a movie that's otherwise just filled with benippled tits on a sphinxes, and like the entire crystal tower or whatever the hell it's called is just vagina imagery.
I was half expecting he was going to enter a strip club after he passed the sphinxes, because I was like, I don't know what we're getting into here, but
the Sphinx thing, like,
that was in the book.
Well, and again, this movie is written and directed by Germans.
I have to ask, were there Sphinx boobs in the book?
Do you want me to tell you?
I would like to hear.
I think that there were probably way more than 2 scenes with Sphinx boobs.
Oh, okay. I'll have to.
I think that there are
I got to pick up a book.
Many trials and tribulations. Yeah, they look great in blue, by the way, when we see them later.
Yeah.
They're massive. They're hanging. I mean, like, I think that that's what really causes trepidation in Atreyu.
Well, yeah, he's seeing these bolt-on, like, D-cups on these.
It is a weird scene, though, because we want Atreyu to do what the knight couldn't do. Right?
Yeah.
Which is just have confidence. And he gets scared, and in the end, he just, like, books it. He just runs.
Maybe he got scared because the boobs were just too massive.
We all would.
Because boobs can be scary.
Yeah, that size. And, arguably,
kids. Boobs can
arguably, that those are the first that he has seen.
Yeah.
I mean, at least like that.
Yeah. The first I've seen like that. Like,
yeah. I think we all made that note, though.
Oh.
Look at it.
0% chance that note is not on all of our...
Yeah, I mean, verbatim.
That's like one of the major takeaways of this, other than Falkor.
Again, there was just so much screen time devoted to them. Like, if it was just one shot, I would probably would have, tolerated, but I was like, Sphinx boob, Sphinx boob, Sphinx boob.
He knew what he was doing.
And they could have cropped the eyes, right? Like, as Atreyu's looking up, he could have looked at the head of those sphinxes.
I'm shocked the lasers didn't come out of the nips.
I'm surprised the lasers didn't run into the boobs.
I think the test was if you keep eye contact with the sphinxes,
right?
If you don't look at the boobs, that's how you pass the gate.
Okay.
That's what happened to the knight. He was staring at the sphinx tits,
but their eyes were up.
They
there,
could sense the semi
Steve?
Coming, and we're like,
yeah. But Atreyu, he made sure to retain eye contact the whole time, even though the sphinx boobs were there. Like, you wanted
Atreyu's
to look.
going to get far at the strip club.
You can't do that to a kid going through puberty. You can't expect him to walk.
Well, I think that's why they all expected he was going to die, because there's no way this kid's not going to look at the sphinx boobs. Like,
yeah. Okay, so let's move on to picking up the scraps. What do we still have that we want to talk about?
I rented the NeverEnding Story at my video store called Vidiots, which is located at 4884 Eagle Rock Boulevard. Please come to Vidiots for that nice old school video rental space with a genuine personal touch. That's my Vidiots plug.
Did you tell them that you're going to do this on a podcast, and if you plug them, they'll give you a free rental?
Oh, totally. Yeah. They basically gave me stock at this point.
Okay.
So let me bring something up that happened in the book, and that was, I think, a big miss on who the hell directed this? Petersen.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're building to this crescendo, right? Bastian doesn't know if he's a part of the world, if he's a part of the adventure. At one point, he's like, "This is impossible," or like, "What?" He's like, "This can't be true," or whatever he says. But we need him so bad to yell out the name, right, for the childlike empress.
Yeah.
If you didn't have subs on and you didn't look it up, it's kind of hard to figure out what he named
It's
her.
nearly unintelligible. I only knew because I looked at fucking Wikipedia.
Right. Want to take a guess what he says in the book?
His mother's name.
His fucking mother's name.
It's so obvious as I'm watching, like, oh, it's his mother's name, right? And then, what?
Moon Child, of which she is not a child. She's a childlike empress.
Like, is his mom's name Luna Baby?
I mean, Gerald McRaney wouldn't marry a Luna baby.
Maybe they all did.
No, Gerald McRaney married a Delta Burke. I
Okay,
believe.
so I think in the book, her name's Deborah or something like that. But, like, that's such a more...
meaningful fucking moment.
Yeah, like, I don't get why you don't do that. We can establish early on, however we do it with, screenwriting, that that's his mom's name. We see a picture, we see a yearbook thing, whatever, that he has saved in his bedroom. We open this movie with him kind of waking up out of bed. He very easily could have had some kind of picture with his mom's name on it. To just go, like, full Woodstock and yell Moonchild.
Such a baffling choice.
It makes the apex culmination of this movie, like, it takes all the power out of it.
I mean, that was going to be my major gripe, was that wasn't, like, how is this not his fucking mother's name?
Yeah.
Like, his mother's name literally would, like, live on and save this other fucking world, and instead Moonchild. Which
is why, for whatever reason, I think that this is the lawsuit that Michael Ende brings
100%.
against this movie. That Wolfgang Petersen goes there and doesn't like this, for whatever reason, wants to have it be more universal so that every kid can fucking Jesus Christ. It's a volleyball that has been perfectly bumped and set for you. And I don't know why they don't do it. Yeah, it's a baffling move. I wish I knew kind of more about this and why they do that. But yeah, that's the biggest scrap I kind of wanted to get out there.
My biggest scrap was the bookstore owner talking shit about video games. And I was just like, no, video games require something about you too. And they also, it's another form of media that can also help you, inspire you to deal with your problems and, But I thought that was, I was like, all right, you don't know.
And he's passing that judgment based on, like, Pac-Man, Asteroids, Centipede, maybe. Like, he doesn't even know what's coming.
Hubert.
No.
Yeah, fuck.
Well, I mean, what was that game where you're typing and it's kind of, what was it called? Quark? It was a text-based game and you had to, like, type out, like, it would literally be like, you're in this land, but you don't know what to do, and you could literally type commands. Zork? Might have been Zork. Point being that would have been a game at that time, and it's like, that's kind of a game that requires imagination. It requires you to actually think. So that was my gripe.
Yeah, old Coriander could have been a big gamer. He just needed some kid to show him the right one.
So, as far as the cast is concerned, Noah Hathaway was cast by Helmut Dietl, like 3 years prior to this going into production.
So,
then he was released when Petersen took over, and filming got pushed back. And then he got cast as Atreyu a second time. He said he had to audition. Now, I'm not sure if he was saying 7 times in total or saying 7 times the first time and another 3 or 4 times the second time, but he had to audition possibly 11 times.
Oh my God.
But he did get cast the second time. Tammy Stronach was picked out of an acting class in San Francisco where someone who was helping with casting happened to see her in some class while she was like waiting to go out to lunch with the instructor or something. They had Noah Hathaway doing his own stunts like a lot.
Wow.
So much so that in rehearsals, there was a stunt that they were doing where a horse was supposed to fucking fall on him and it broke his fucking back and he was in traction for a month.
Jesus.
Yeah, he gets tossed around hard in this movie.
Jesus.
Insane.
I thought I saw like maybe a woman in a bad wig when
he was being holding onto the tree.
Yeah. But yeah,
and he did have a riding double also, but like he's clearly on the horse for a lot of it.
Yeah. And he's clearly getting sneezed off that one tree into a bunch of fucking dirt.
Yeah, 100%.
A few times.
He was talking, there's an EW oral history type thing that came out in like 2019 or something. And he was talking about like the shots of him on Falkor. Like they were like shooting it. They put the head of Falkor on a fucking forklift, raised it up like 10 or 20 feet from off the ground. And sometimes the forklift would get all janky and like try to buck him off of this thing. And it's just like mats and boxes underneath. So,
oof.
Yeah, the kid's lucky to be alive, frankly.
Lucky to not be Reeves. Oh.
Yeah, pretty nuts. So there is an urban legend that the horse dies in the swamp. Like for real. Like they killed the horse while shooting the film. According to Petersen, that is not true. They trained 2 horses for months to sink without struggling against it. And they basically had like a hydraulic lift underneath that was like lowering the horse further and further into the mud. But they had to train 2 horses for months, and it took fucking 2.5 weeks to shoot that scene.
I mean, some of the greatest horse acting, though. Yeah. Like that horse was looking like, I'm going to die. I don't think I've ever seen a horse's life flash before his eyes and captured on camera.
We call that horchting. Which is actually the German term for it, too. But part of that is the brindle, right? And the the flared teeth. The horse doesn't know that it's going to be okay, right?
Yeah.
That horse is not acting.
Yeah, that bit is like pulling its jaw out, I think. I think because the bit's probably behind the teeth and he's pulling out the teeth.
Yeah, and I mean, it's clearly joking. Obviously, it's terrible what's happening to the horse, and you could see in his eyes, he's looking around like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
Why is no one helping me?
I was so good to this kid. I only fell on him a couple times.
Yeah. I only almost killed him once.
Yeah.
Now, they did give Hathaway one of the horses as a wrap gift, but he lived in California and couldn't get it back from Europe, so he had to he basically just gave it to his riding double, and the riding double kept it. The horse lived for like another 20 years. So
that's good to
hear. Good horse life.
Yeah.
How much do you guys think this movie made?
A lot.
Oh.
As I said before, it cost between 25 and 27 million to make.
It made double, at least. Everybody saw this fucking thing.
I think at the box office it bombed. I think it made up for it in its rental sales.
Well, it didn't do great in the U.S. Like, it only made about 20 million in the U.S., but it made 20 million in Germany alone. It ended up grossing like $100 million worldwide. So it did make, 4 times its budget back.
That's why it got 2 sequels.
It was the highest grossing German film at the time. It passed Das Boot. So at the end of 1984, Petersen had the 2 highest grossing German films of all time.
What a run for him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you guys think it was well received?
I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to say because we were like in the era of Muppets and Muppet love that they went along with this one. I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say no, it was not. But then it was later, cheap cult classic status.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it had an 84 on Rotten Tomatoes, but most of that's like new reviews. Metacritic has it with a 49 with more contemporary reviews to its release. Ebert liked it. Siskel and Vincent Canby did not. Siskel thought it was, it looked cheap and thought it was boring. Ebert liked it, whatever.
We'll be right back with more Unkind Rewind.
We all know that feeling. You finally manage to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "Beware of Dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more.
Yeah, so let's move on to major gripes, unless we have any more things that you feel like we should hit on that we haven't.
One of my gripes is I just felt like it ended too quickly. Like, I feel like they ran out of money and they just tacked on an ending, and we're like, all right, and cut. I was expecting a scene where he confronts his father, and I just feel like it cuts before any of that happens.
So, Steve, you're right on the money. It's a voiceover narrator that we have not heard yet.
Baffling.
Who, it's in Vancouver. It's like a pan to the buildings, and it says, Bastian made many other wishes and went on many other adventures. Like, he can't run into his father's arms? Or give me something. Give me...
You couldn't have shot that same scene that same day where you had the two actors for that, like, 30-second scene in the kitchen? You could have just shot that?
It is so strange to end it like there. It feels like...
They had McCraney for half a day, it seems.
The funny thing is, like, I couldn't tell if that was a character if he was playing or if that was just him as the actor just not being invested in this fucking thing, because he was just like, I don't know what this fucking thing is. I'm just gonna do my lines and get out of here.
Yeah, he can't understand Wolfgang Petersen's accent.
Yeah, he's like, this isn't Simon.
They had him for a half day, and most of the time he's sick in the bathroom with salmonella.
But yeah, anyways, it could have been such an easy just show his father being worried about him, show that, oh, there's the heart that was lost, just a little something.
Or you know what? Just have him walk back into the bookstore and put the book down on the desk, right?
Yep.
And then a little like head nod, or I knew you'd be back, or I told you I would. Something like that. How about that?
Yeah.
He brings the book back, he puts it on the desk, we see Coriander look, and he says, I told you I would. Even if you want to fucking dumb it down with like a freeze frame on Bastian smiling, things are going to work out for him.
Pistol winking at the at the camera.
That he knows it's going to be okay, and that his imagination is going to help him, not hurt him in life.
Yeah.
And that he can embrace Falkor's advice, which was great advice, which was never give up and good luck will find you. Give me some connection, because it is cool that this bookstore owner
groomed this kid into...
Well, he baits him, right? He knows that he's going to steal it, and that's okay with him, because he's going to read the story of his life.
And he knows how to bait him by being like, you don't want to read this book.
Yeah.
This book isn't for you.
It's
like,
too
you
dangerous.
couldn't handle this book.
Yeah.
Instead of like, you should read this
Have
book.
these wine
It's filled with a lot
coolers.
of imagination.
Yeah. Her name's Anne Rand, and she is one of the best writers.
You're gonna love objectivism.
Oh, God.
Because he has just bullied the bullies, right? We have such a satisfying circle and ending
Josh,
there.
You were talking about things that made you laugh. I laughed because I thought, is this trying to become a B horror movie where the kid's writing in on Godzilla and it just turns into a Godzilla movie at the end? And then Falkor's like literally like opening his jaws like he's about to devour them.
It's such a weird turn for this movie that's otherwise kind of like serious. There's like not a joke in this movie.
Yeah. Honestly, I loved it. I loved all the metaphorical, spiritual ideas they're like touching on. Like, I thought, this is so revolutionary. This is so brilliant. Why is Falkor now on a bloodthirst for revenge?
To this kid that Falkor has only just met. Falkor does not have a conception of who Bastian is. He knows Atreyu pretty well, but Bastian has been there like for 5 minutes. And
it's like I just watched Rambo and Rambo 2, where his character arc changes on a dime, where he's like, oh, 100%. I shouldn't have been in that war. It's like, now we're out for blood. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they do have the connection because Atreyu and Bastian saw each other when they went to the mirror that showed them their true self. So, like, I do like that Bastian.
No, I love that.
Yeah, I do like that cool. Bastian gets to be on Falkor.
Yeah.
It's like Space Harrier, right?
Yeah.
Like the way that they shoot those things, going over the ocean, going over the deserts, going over mountaintops. There's nothing you would wish for harder as a kid than something like that.
Absolutely. Like, no, I am on board all the way through. Even the little scare at the beginning with the bullies, I'm fine with that. It's when Falkor goes down that alley and he's opening his jaws wide. And I'm like, All right, that was too much, movie. That was too much.
And it is weird though that like the extras in that scene, beyond the bullies, are responding to Falkor.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, it reminded me of a Godzilla movie. Where
They're
I'm like
flattened against the wall, terrified, because their entire world has been shattered. Because a hairy dragon dog is terrorizing Vancouver.
And it's targeting 3 children.
To see the news that day.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, he's going to catch significantly less hell for being away all night. Now that, like, there's a dragon terrorizing British Columbia.
Okay, so what's your major gripe, Sean?
I mean, I think Steve hit it. I mean, I think that ending is so lackluster given what we deal with in the movie.
It clashes tonally with the rest of the film.
Yeah, I mean, I have my little picky henpeck shit about the animatronics and the bad dubbing, but like, if you could have crushed that ending, even in a soft moment, like, I think that this movie becomes elevated.
Yeah. Obviously, my major gripe we already talked about, so. How would we fix this movie for today? Starting with Steve, if you've got a fix. Or maybe it's perfect. If you feel like it's perfect, then by all means, say that.
I mean, again, I'm still very happy to rewatch this. I'll probably rewatch it again. I'm very pleased with the ideas it was pushing at children. Like, I miss movies challenging children. But like I said earlier, I guess if you're going to have Falkor running amok, just, more blood at the end. Let's see some decapitated limbs in his mouth. Let's see Bastion bathing in their blood, just skull the way through, be like, revenge is a lesson. Revenge is good. Like, just
decapitated kids' heads, like, in the alley.
Yeah. Or just him just munching on them. He could have, like, opened up the garbage can and just went in like a bag of chips. Like, just,
Yeah.
Well, he tells, Atreyu not to be afraid because he doesn't have that taste. He doesn't have the taste for flesh.
That's true. I did tell someone that if somebody had made a human for me, I'd eat it because that's just a waste of food. But no, I obviously, like what Sean was saying, that ending. You need an ending. You need an ending.
This is not one.
This is not an ending. Yeah. It ended, but it wasn't an ending.
Right.
And I can excuse the animatronics, the puppets, because it's like, it's just still nice. It's still a great effort.
Right.
And I think that's what people respond to. It's like, there was effort put in. Is the execution there? No, but.
If you're doing it today, I think what you could do is you could exhaust the book. I think you could go through, and I don't even know if you would make it as a movie. I think that you'd probably do this as a series.
They tried to do it as a series in like 2000, but I'm sure the technology wasn't there. And it was Canadian production, so.
Well,
as someone who hasn't read the book, could this also have the Lord of the Rings treatment? Where you have 3 3-hour movies?
Maybe, but like Lord of the Rings didn't have that 80s feature to kind of like establish it, so it was all brand new for most people. Like, they didn't even do the animated Lord of the Rings. They just did the animated Hobbit. So I think that too many people are going to be like, why are they remaking NeverEnding Story? Oh, it's perfect. Or like, oh, they got to rehash all this shit. But if you do it as a series, you could get really in-depth into the book. You could keep the goddamn name thing.
Yeah.
And then you could explore the worlds with CGI that they couldn't even do in 83. You would lose a little bit of the charm of this world with the puppets, which always kind of happens when, you make something look better, but you lose. Like, I don't want to watch CGI Yoda.
No. I
want to watch Frank Oz moving his hand around. So I think it would suffer from that. I don't think that they would do it with practical, but I think that they could pull it off. I think that with a good showrunner, you could get a 10-part NeverEnding Story, and it would be really good.
An hour an episode?
Yeah, I think you do it. I don't think you even make it for kids. You make it for like cool kids, but fantasy has just like the recommended age for fantasy has gone up like
15 years.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. I don't know. That would be my fix. That would be my fix. Yeah.
For me, I think if you're going to take the bones of this movie, like the one we see, because obviously this is only half of the fucking book, but if you're going to take this, I think you have to have him getting to reading the book faster. Once you're starting in Fantasia, I think you have to have Atreyu show up earlier. I think you need to be following Atreyu immediately because he's the hero. Like, you have... And, you know, obviously they're cutting back and forth. It's intercut between him reading the book and the action in Fantasia. But you have 10 minutes of screen time where you're in Atreyu's world. Atreyu's the hero. Why are we not following him instead of these randos who we basically never fucking see again except for Rockbiter? Very odd. I think you need to focus the story much more on Atreyu as the book sort of, I guess not analog because they're not analogs at all, but the protagonist in the book, and have him be in it a lot earlier so that you're streamlining the narrative a lot more. Because there's a lot of wasted time, and then the hero's journey is compressed into an hour of screen time and is just kind of meaningless. I do think that, like, now, even if you're making this for kids, I think you could get away with this being a 2-hour movie. So I think you've also got, like, an extra half-hour play, but, like, you need to flesh out the, like, journey with Artax. Artax cannot die fucking, 30 minutes into the movie or whatever. Like, that needs to land, and then, obviously, you need to fix the ending. But, like, I just think that, like, narrative beats don't hit at all here. The narrative beats that they should be hitting, they're not. So... I was bored as a person who didn't have a relationship to the movie because, like, it felt like there wasn't a, like, logic to what was happening at all. It was just set piece, set piece, set piece.
It's because the nothing got you, Josh.
The nothing did get me. Yeah.
Nothing got you.
The despair set in.
So, Saving Graces, what was your favorite moment or element of the film? Starting with our guest, Steve.
Like I said, I love that it explored the relationship between the reader and the character, and how we breathe life into each other, and how we are connected to things that don't exist.
Yeah.
And I forgot who said it, it just reminds me of the quote, a mind null logic is a knife all blade, cuts the wearer that uses it. And I think it was a nice, like, affirmation to, like, live in your imagination, live in the world that's inside of you, bring life to the characters and to the world inside of you, and let it out, so to speak. So that I was not expecting. I was expecting, like, fun but dumb schlocky thing. I wasn't expecting these ideas being presented to me. Sure. That I dug. But I get the being bored. I totally get why people wouldn't like it. And again, I wasn't expecting not to like it, but I was like, this is meaningful. This is some meaningful material. And I wish more movies did this. Yeah. Like, it's just so brave to just do that. So that's the thing I loved.
Sean?
And Sphinx boobs.
You just took mine, but...
Yeah, we took all of ours. I literally wrote, look at the tits on that Sphinx. That was my note while watching this movie. Gosh. I mean, I think that it's a small thing and it's maybe too quick, but, like, when he sees the rock drawings and he's watching his own story... And then we get to Gomorrah, like, in the present. What a cool way to kind of, like, bring us through the story. Like, you could have gone to the bathroom, with your salmonella or whatever. Like, you could have left and, like, had to, like, repark your car and come back and then watched, like, what had happened in the movie. And for Atreyu as that character to kind of watch himself, see himself losing Artax, see himself on the back of Falkor.
While Bastion's seeing all this, too.
And then to finally meet Gomorrah. What a cool, like, narrative technique. I talk about score a lot on the show. I think the score is fantastic. Not even the theme song, but I think Giorgio Moroder is really amazing. What I want to do, though, is I want to send something to Josh.
Now, I guess, speaking about the score, there are two different scores. There's the German language score that is the more classical arrangements. Moroder had nothing to do with those, and they weren't released on the German language version. the song and the Marauder score, Marauder was like adding synth bits to everything. Is this going to get us DMCA'd, man?
It shouldn't. It's part of another movie score. But
if it's a score at all, it's going to get us DMCA'd.
Okay, so what I want people to do is to listen to the beginning of a Goonies track called Mape and Willie, because it is like note for note ripping off either Giorgio Moroder or whoever the other composer was on this movie.
Yeah.
It is like, maybe we take just a second and play it, like, and then clip it out. Like we don't put
it's
it in.
It's going to be a
thing.
lot more work than I wanted.
Okay. All right. So you guys will just have to do this. I think
I'm an avid lover of scores, so I'm with you.
I think the Gomorrah thing is great. I think Falkor's great. The creativity, I think, of this movie is really just its calling card. Even with, like, I don't disagree with anything that Josh has said. Like, I have those same issues too. But I got there again as an adult because of just how lush and wild and unbridled and, like, the shit in this movie I hadn't seen before this. Like, everybody has ripped this movie off in one way or another. But, like, so many things from this movie were making their first appearance. And yeah, like that scene with Falkor taking Bastian for a ride, and they catch up to Atreyu and Artax. Artax is back now. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, that just image of like these two heroes now on these two avatars and friends riding along together, existing in the same world.
Yeah.
Really just a special moment. Like, they have every right to fist pump in that movie, in that scene.
Before I do my saving grace, I do just want to get one little question that I have gnawing at the back of my brain. So, this is a German film, like German source material, German filmmakers, German producers. When Moonchild says Fantasia can rise anew, do we need to worry that Fantasia is the Aryan Empire?
Mm.
She is kind of the Aryan ideal, right?
Perhaps. I mean, she's not white in the book, if that helps.
Okay. But she's definitely... she could be a poster child.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't call the police on Atreyu, so I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, she's spending a lot of time with, a person of color in this movie.
Sure. Although
she does end up with a white kid.
Noah Hathaway is pretty sure he's Jewish and
yeah.
Not Native American.
We could get into that too, but then that's a whole. It's a whole
I mean that's
to-do.
80s casting.
Yeah,
like I didn't feel the need to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, or 2011, the last Airbender casting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so my favorite moment was when Falkor drops Atreyu back off at the Crystal Tower or whatever the hell it is. And he's basically like, enter that vagine. Like, it was so funny to me. Anyway, that's it. That's my favorite moment.
You know what? I wish I could have watched you, Josh, watching this, because I'm sure you were making this face the whole time, like, the fuck is this? The fuck is this?
Just laughing at weird parts.
It was just all inappropriate laughter, basically.
Yeah.
Josh, how do you think 8 or 9-year-old Josh would have done with this? Like, if you could put yourself into that mind that Steve and I have, like, is this something that would have resonated with you?
Probably, but like, I don't have a lot of fantasy films that are the like cherished filmic memories for me.
Mm.
Like, even as a child, like I liked the Goonies. I liked things that had like adventure in them. I like the Indiana Jones movies or, Star Wars, but like, I don't really have any fantasy films that fill the sort of like cherished childhood memories box that a lot of other stuff is in. It's mostly like comedies and...
You needed to have it rooted in reality. Like, you needed to have
I loved the Star Wars films until we all
ruined.
didn't anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still like them with the original trilogy.
Well, I do too.
I honestly, I don't even think I can watch them anymore.
I think the original trilogy is still pretty good.
By the way, every time you choose a fucking Star Wars movie on Cinequote, it kills my streak. You just killed, like, I had 130 straight Cinequotes, and then you picked a goddamn new Star Wars movie, and it's always some bullshit, like, I can't even tell. It's so bad that I can't tell it's a Star Wars movie until, like, the fourth of 5.
Well, Josh, there may be a way to fix this.
I'm not going to keep watching them.
I'm just saying.
I don't need to. I'm fine losing on Star Wars shit, but it's irritating.
Yeah, and yet those are some movies where they hear the first quote and people smack their hands together and go, "Oh yeah."
I mean, I'm SOL whenever you go Pixar 2 or like an animated, but regardless, that's we're far afield of what this podcast is about. So, Steve, it seemed like revisiting this film was something that you weren't entirely looking forward to, as it might be ruined. Did you ultimately find that there was enough in the NeverEnding Story to be able to still look back at it with fondness?
Yeah, I was definitely apprehensive at first, but I'm so much happier watching it. Yeah, it was good. I'm glad we did this.
Nice. I'm glad you're glad. Sean, how do you feel about it?
I think I'm with Steve. I think that there's a lot to this movie that's really great. I think that my academic brain now, it's hard for me not to poke holes here and there, but like the kind of uncynical child in me is still very much warmed and very nourished by this movie.
Now, obviously, we've done, we're in the middle of season 3. You know, we've done, 25 of these movies. Is this the first time that you've kind of had like a disconnect between your more critical reaction to the film and a like nostalgic fondness? Like, is this the most disparate kind of like two-brained almost reaction that you've had?
Maybe. You know, I didn't know, I wouldn't have been able to kind of poke holes in this as a kid.
Sure.
I wouldn't have known what was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the faculties or the vocabulary to explain the shortcomings of this movie. But like that little kid and the adult version of me now are still very much like affected by the same things.
Artax.
Befriending a dragon, losing a horse. Yeah. Like
you've lost so many horses in your
bullies
life,
getting their comeuppance, right? Like,
yeah.
And as Steve put it, like that bridging of the world between the narrator, between the reader and the character. Like, I think
not the narrator who just pops in out of nowhere.
Jesus Christ! Like who? Like we're gonna find out that was like Richard Dreyfuss for no apparent reason. Like, I don't even know if that person got a credit, but yeah,
I feel like it was probably the bookstore owner.
It didn't sound like him. It didn't sound like him, and maybe he could have said it as like Bastian gets a new book or something like that. He walks away and the store owner looks to us and breaks the fourth wall. Like that happened a couple times in this movie with the Empress and Bastian where they looked at us. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
It's the voice, it's the same guy, it's Alan Oppenheimer who does the voice of the narrator along with Falkor, Gmork, and Rockbiter.
Okay. Well, he's a man of many voices. But
I thought I heard Falkor in there, but yeah, that makes sense.
His introduction as a narrator makes no sense and pulls some of the weight off this movie of what
oh my god, I would have loved if the Rockbiter did the narration. Something. Yeah. That would have been something.
Just have him supered in the bottom corner or something.
Well, because the Rockbiter's kind of our introduction to the world, so it would have made, some symmetrical sense that he ended it. Yeah. But yeah, sorry.
No, that's fine. I mean, there are things to complain about. Like, this is not a perfect film.
Yeah.
But overall, Steve, your aces with this.
Oh yeah, I have more respect for it now. I'm like,
okay,
Christ.
Nice. So before we say goodbye to listeners at home, where can they find you, Steve?
Again, I guess Insta, keep LA angry. Twitter, keep LA angry. Yeah, if you guys ever want to see pictures of my darling cat or, a screenshot of a positive reader review of a screenplay. And I might start reluctantly start shooting sketches. So look out for that. But yeah.
Do you have an active YouTube channel?
No, but it'll be linked to my Keep LA Angry stuff. But
Okay.
And if you're ever at Vidya, because I'm usually there, feel free to say hi. Yeah.
Well, thank you for subjecting a cherished film of your youth to the scrutiny of the Unkind Rewind, Steve.
Yeah, Steve. I appreciate it.
I was pleasantly surprised how much I love this. The cynicalness was like, oh, there's still a soul in there.
I did tell you that happened sometimes last week.
Never give up, Steve.
Yeah.
Same to you, Sean.
And good luck will find you.
Yeah, just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Persevere, unlike Artax, that lazy fucking horse.
He tried. His lower jaw was coming out. He really tried.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. That was another installment of the Unkind Rewind, mining our childhood for content, one film from a guest's past at a time. Unkind Rewind is a Munchcasts production and can be listened to wherever you download your podcasts and watched on the Unkind Rewind YouTube channel. Music for this and every other episode of Unkind Rewind was composed by Divorcio Suave. Rate, review, like, and subscribe to Unkind Rewind on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and Good Pods. Links to all of our social media accounts are in our show notes, but you'll find us as at Unkind Rewind Pod on Letterboxd and nearly every social media platform, all of which can be found at our website, unkindrewind.com. If you have a question, concern, complaint, or feedback, you can email the podcast at unkindrewindpod@gmail.com or call into our call-in line, area code 507-479-6440, and leave a message that can be played on air. Fans should join the Munchcast Discord to discuss this or any other episode of the Unkind Rewind with like-minded people. This dialogue may just make it into a future episode of the pod. The Unkind Rewind Patreon will be coming soon, so start squirreling that pocket change away. Thank you for listening to the Unkind Rewind.